Hi there everyone, I hope you and your families are remaining safe. So today's recipe is going to be marinara sauce. If you can hear that in the background, sorry, it's my dishwasher. Can't do much about it, I've got to film intro. So today's recipe, as I say, it's going to be some marinara sauce. I use this almost exclusively for my wheat balls, obviously you can use it with other things, but this is what I tend to pair it up with. What I don't need, I freeze, which I'll show you what I do with it during the video, and then just store it until I do need it, because it lasts and lasts and lasts for a good few weeks, many weeks in your freezer. So make what you need for the meal, freeze the rest. So let's crack on and do this. So the first thing we're looking to do is to prepare our cannonball onion. Now, is this the correct name for it? I don't know. My supermarket at one point called it a cannonball onion. It's stuck. I like it. It means it designates a really large onion, a huge thing. A cannonball, so it works. Otherwise, you're looking for 2 large onions. And as always, I'm pitching my video largely towards people who don't know how to operate in the kitchen, people who are very inexperienced. But the recipes still work for people who know what they're doing. You just don't need to pay as much attention to some of the instructions I'm given when it comes to how to cut things and how to take things apart. So for your onion, what we're looking to do is we're going to first of all take the top off, we're going to then half it, and then we're going to de-skin it. Remove any of the skin that doesn't look good, doesn't look fresh, and doesn't look pristine. And once you have removed all the skin, what we're going to do is we're going to cut towards the root side of the onion, but we don't want to cut all the way through. We want to leave a little flap hanging. And we're going to do relatively thin slices, maybe 5-6 millimeters thick, because we're looking for a reasonably fine chop. We don't need it mega fine. We could go thinner still, which would give us really fine, but this is fine enough. And once we've done that, we're going to turn our onion 90 degrees and we're going to cut perpendicular to the angle that they were sitting at, and that will give us our nice chopped onion. I'll show you this again at another angle in a second, again just so you can see what I'm talking about, but that's all you do to chop our onions down. And so here we go, same concept but from the different angle. You're cutting towards the root section, but you're not cutting all the way through, as you can see where the knife's sitting. Again, we're looking for that 5, 6, 7 millimeter sort of width, and then turn it 90 degrees and then just slice down into the onion. The closer you make those cuts to your end of the onion, the finer their onion chops are going to be. And that's it. That's all there is to chop my onion. As I say, this section here, this prep section, is pitched it for people who are very inexperienced in the kitchen, like I once was. And now set your onions aside in a large bowl, and because they're going to be kicking off quite a bit of acid, make sure you cover them. I like using silicone liners which go over the top of them, but use anything. Use a towel, use a bit of kitchen towel, a cloth, anything just to stop those fumes getting in and making your eyes sting as the onions sit there. And again, just to demonstrate that there are options out there, I'm going to be using frozen crushed garlic. 1 block of frozen crushed garlic equates to 4 fresh cloves, and that's what we're looking for. So either 4 fresh cloves or 1 frozen block. And just let that defrost. If it needs a quick 5-10 seconds in your microwave just to defrost it, bung it in, but don't cook it, just a quick defrost it, get it starting to break apart. And next up, we need 1 small carrot, roughly 40 grams worth of carrot, after you've peeled it and after you've taken the top and bottom off it. So roughly 40 grams, but it's a small carrot, that's what you're looking for. And we're looking to finely grate this. We don't want coarse grating, so whatever the finest grating setting is on your actual grater, that's what we're going to do. And we're just looking for those nice, fine, really lovely gratings. And again, just like our previous ingredients, we're going to set these aside in a bowl until we're ready to use them. Now, you have an option here of either using marjoram, which would be 2 tablespoons, or if you don't have that in your herb cupboard, you can use oregano. The oregano, you'd be using 3.5 teaspoons of oregano instead. They aren't the same flavour because they're different herbs, but they are of the same family, so they're close, but marjoram does have a distinct flavour. But not everyone has it. I only use it for this sauce. I can't think of anything else I use it for. So if you're not wanting to buy it in just for one dish, use the oregano instead. Now to the same ramekin that our marjoram or oregano, if that's what you've used, we're going to be adding 1 teaspoon of basil. And into a separate ramekin we're going to organise our seasoning, so we're looking for 3/4 of a teaspoon of table salt. And to the same ramekin that we already have our salt in, we're going to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground black pepper. And to yet another ramekin we are going to add 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar. And now the hardest part of our preparation stage, we need to take the lid off of 2 cans of chopped tomatoes. Now you can use peeled tomatoes in a tin if you wish, if that's your preference, but you're going to have to chop them up. So just buy the chopped ones to start with, save you a little bit of effort. And now that all our prep work is out of the way, we're ready to get on and cook. So we're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil to quite a large pan, probably your largest in a set of 4. Now set your hob to a medium heat and we're going to be looking for 2 things. When you start seeing the convection currents running through your oil, it's probably around about temperature. And the way to test this is drop a couple of bits of your onion into it, and if it sizzles, it's ready and we're good to cook. And assuming when you add your couple of bits of onion and they do sizzle, we want to add the rest. And we're then just going to give it a good stir to make sure everything's coated in oil, and then we're going to cover it with a lid and we're going to sweat it for 8 minutes. And once we're done sweating the onions, which was the cooking them with the lid on, we're going to add our garlic. And we're going to cook that until it's fragrant, i.e. you can smell the garlic in the air, which takes roughly 30 seconds. It generally doesn't take any longer than that. Can do, but it's rare. So about 30 seconds, as soon as you can smell that garlic in the air, you're good to go on to the next stage. And now we add our carrot, our marjoram and our basil. At this stage, once you add those dry herbs, there is a risk of it being too dry in the pot. Generally that is the case, not always, but generally that is the case. So all we're going to do is add 2 tablespoons of water as well, if you feel the herbs are dry, sticking and at risk of burning. Otherwise, you don't need to do it, but 2 tablespoons of water is 90% of the time required here. And once everything is mixed together and we've decided whether we're adding the water or not, we're going to continue cooking this for 5 minutes at a medium temperature, which again means that if you didn't add that water, you're going to keep checking it as you go, just in case you need to add it during that 5-minute period. And now we're looking to add both of our cans of chopped tomatoes and our salt and pepper. We're looking to bring this to the boil. Once it's at the boil, we actually want to turn it down to low and we're going to cook it for 30 minutes. Just make sure we stir everything together nice and well. And once the 30 minutes is over, the sauce really should have thickened up and reduced down nicely. As you can see on the video, it's quite different from where we were at. It's a much thicker, much denser, much yummier sauce, and it's ready to go. Now generally I don't need all the sauce in one go, but it's nice to have it ready for when you are looking for it. So all you're going to do is you're going to take and freeze what you don't need, and it will keep for a good few weeks in your freezer. I've mentioned and I've shown you these before, these ice cube trays, you can pick them up just about everywhere, but they're almost exactly half a tablespoon per dimple, which is absolutely perfect for cooking because you get specific measurements sitting aside ready to use when you want them. So just take and spread them out. It's a bit harder with this sauce because there's chunky onion bits in it, but they still fit in and they still work, and you can freeze them and use them as required. So there we go then, marinara sauce made. So I use this pretty much exclusively for my wheat ball sandwiches. If you want to use jarred marinara sauces, they're out there, but this is a nice, cheap, easy way to make it. It's not difficult, so why not make your own? And then freeze what you don't need, and then you've always got some marinara sauce for the wheat balls. So let's have a wee taste of it, because you're going to see me having it with the sandwiches in the separate video, but for this time, there's a nice blend of the marjoram, hints of the onion, hints of the tomatoes. Nothing's too powerful. It's quite a soft, subtle sauce. If you use the oregano, it does tend to be stronger, the flavour I find when I use the oregano than when I use the marjoram. It's up to you which one you want to use. There's not much of a difference to the taste, but there is a definite change to the taste depending on which one you use. I sometimes use the oregano because I've generally got tons of that in the house, but marjoram, I literally only use it for this as well. I can't really think of any other one of my recipes that actually use marjoram in. So hence why I actually looked into substitutes when I did, and that's your two options. So if you do make it, let me know. If you make the wheat ball sandwiches that I'm making this for as well, let me know. Otherwise, take care, thanks for watching, and stay safe out there. All the best, folks. Bye for now.